in order to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form, which remember looks like y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to identify the slope. So when I look at this line, the slope is up 2 and right 1, so 2 over 1, or you could just write that as 2. The y-intercept, where does it cross the y-axis? At 2. So my equation, y equals either 2 over 1x plus 2, or if you wanted to, you could simply write y equals 2x plus 2. Either of those equations is correct. Likewise, for this problem, the first thing I need to do is find the slope. I go down 4 and right 3, so my slope is negative 4 thirds. My y-intercept, where I cross the y-axis, is at negative 1. So my answer is y equals negative 4 thirds x minus 1, or if you prefer, y equals negative 4 thirds x plus negative 1. Again, either one of these two is correct. I prefer minus 1 as opposed to plus negative 1. When I'm looking at this equation, the first thing that I notice is that my line is completely horizontal. Remember, a horizontal line has a 0 slope. So if I was looking at an equation, it would look like y equals 0x plus b. Now I know what the y-intercept is. It's negative 4. Y equals 0x plus negative 4. But remember, 0x is really just 0. So y equals negative 4. This problem shows a real-life situation for the use of an equation in the slope-intercept form. We are digging a tunnel, and it's going to take us a certain number of months to finish digging the tunnel. When I start digging the tunnel, I am 3,500 feet from my finishing point, or my distance remaining is 3,500 feet. In order to answer part A, write the equation y equals slope. I need to know my slope. I can use any 2 points on this grid. I'm going to use this point and this point. So I'm going down 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm going down 2,000 units. And I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So my slope is negative 2,000 over 4. Remember, anytime we have a fraction, we want to reduce that into the simplest form. So I'm going to take a 4 out of each of these, leaving with the slope of negative 500. So y equals negative 500 x. And then where do I start? My starting value, my y-intercept, is 3,500. Question B asks, how long does it take to complete the tunnel? In other words, at what time is my distance remaining 0? Right here. That's the x-intercept. The y value is how much distance is remaining. I want that to be 0. I want to be completed, So another way to ask this question is, what's the x-intercept? And the answer is 7 months. Now, if I want to write the equation of a line that passes through 2 points, I first want to decide what these points are. When I look at this first point, remember I'm looking at an x and a y, and then another x and another y. The x value is 0. The x value of 0 occurs at the y-intercept. So this value is my b value. So if b equals -1, I only have one thing left to find. I need to know the slope. In order to find the slope, I need to decide, how do my y values change? How can I get from -1 to -1? Well, I don't do anything. I add 0. How do I get from 0 to 4? I add 4. So my slope is, how did my y's change over how did my x's change? My change in y is nothing, and my change in x is an increase by 4. But 0 divided by anything is 0. So I have a slope of 0. When I write my equation, y equals slope 0, x. Y-intercept is -1, so -1. Now there's nothing wrong with this equation. It is perfectly acceptable. However, most of the time, since we have 0 times a number, we would just write this as y equals -1. That tells us that this line must be a horizontal line, because y is -1 everywhere. If I wanted to write the equation of a line that passes through 0, 5, and 4, 5, again, the first thing I notice is I have an x value of 0, which makes this my y-intercept. My b value is 5. Just like the previous problem, how do my y's change? They don't change. How do my x's change? They change by 4. So again, my slope is a change of 0 over a change of 4. Again, 0 divided by anything is 0. So I have a slope of 0 again, which we know means it's a horizontal line at y equals 5. Y is always 5. So my answer, y equals 5. The last problem is a real-life example. Sean has $120 in his savings account. Each month, he saves $25 more. We're asked for 2 things here. Question A, write an equation to model the amount of money in Sean's savings account. Question B, how many months will it take Sean to save $395? So as we start, we want to break down this equation into its pieces. Sean has $100 in his savings account. That is his initial or starting value. Anytime we have an initial or starting value, that is our y-intercept. So I'm just going to put that this is our b value. Each month, he saves $25 more. Each month, he saves $25 more. Anytime we see something that happens each month or each week or for every this, that's a sign that we have a rate. Every month he gets $25 more, or he's adding $25 to his account. This is a sign of our increase of our rate of increase or decrease. It's our rate. And remember, rate is just a slope. That's our m value. So when I write this equation in the y equals mx plus b form, y equals slope, $25, times x, plus the starting value of 120. Let's break this down. It says my y-intercept is 120, or I start at 120. For every x, which is going to be our months, I add $25 more. When we are writing an equation, it is good to make sure that we clearly define our variables. I'm going to tell you over here that y is the amount of money in the savings account. And x is the number of months. By clearly defining our variables, anyone from the outside could understand what this equation means. It says, my amount of money is $25 times the number of months plus $120. So here is our answer for part A. This is the definition of our variables. Question B says, how long would it take, or how many months will it take for Sean to save $395? Well, this is what I want my answer to be. This is what I want the amount of money to be. So I put that in for the amount of money. 395 goes in for y equals 25x plus 120. Now we can see we have a two-step linear equation. Step number 1, subtract 120 from each side. Leaves me with 275 is equal to 25x. And then lastly, I will divide by 25 to isolate the x variable. When I divide by 25, I will get x equals 11. Or in other words, 11 months.